guys, this is Pearl, and today we are going to do a quick tutorial on what an absolute position is and also what a fixed position is, and we are going to use text and images to show the differentiation or to show the difference between an absolute position and a fixed position. And you are going to learn a whole lot of interesting things today. So let's get started. Now we are going to start with the absolute position. So what is an absolute position? An absolute position simply allows you to move your element anywhere on your page. So whether you want to move it to the left, to the right, to the top or to the bottom, an absolute position allows you to do that. And one thing you need to note about the absolute position is that it is always relative to the column in which it finds itself. Now let's get into practice so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, now we are going to drag and drop a section. Okay, so let's drag and drop a section. And I want to expand this section a bit because I want to add something into the section. Okay, now this is okay. Now let's add an image in the section. All right. Now you can see that I can't move this image around, or I can't position this image anywhere I want to position it, because when it comes to Speedwapp, by default, all other elements, when you drag and drop an element, by default it is in the static position. So before you'll be able to move your image around, or before you'll be able to move any element you drag and drop into your section or onto your page, you have to change it from the static position, which does not allow you to move it around, to any other position which will enable you move around. So what you have to do is to click on the image and locate the position property panel. So let's locate the position property panel, which is right here, and change the position from static to absolute. Now you can see that when I changed it to absolute, the image quickly moved. That means the image is positioning itself relative to the column or the section in which it finds itself. That is how absolute position works. Now it gives us also the opportunity to also move our image around and place it anywhere we want to place it. Now let's quickly resize this and resize more. So you can decide to place this image at the top, at the bottom, at the left, or at the right. That is how absolute position works. Now when it comes to fixed positions are always stuck to the page. So whether you move up or down, it doesn't move. So let me just change this image back to a fixed position. All right, now it's in a fixed position. Okay, a fixed position is simply a specialized form of an absolute position. It's always stuck to your page. So whether you scroll up or down, the position does not move, or your image or whatever element is in that static position, or is in that fixed position, so it doesn't move. Now let me quickly show you an example in Speedwapp for the explanation to be clearer. Okay, now this is a great example of an absolute position and a fixed position. This background you are seeing right here is in a fixed position. So whether I scroll my page up or down, it's still fixed. It's stuck to the page. It's just stuck to the page and it can't be moved. So it does not affect it, or it does not, the scrolling does not affect the fixed positioning element. But all these other elements are absolute position. So with absolute position, as you scroll as you scroll down or up, the absolute position moves with your page. It moves with your page. It moves with your page. But the fixed position does not move with your page. It's just stuck to your page. And I'm sure that this explanation is much clearer. Now let's quickly put something together, or let's quickly add text and images to give you more example, and also to show you the difference between an absolute position and a fixed position. So let's get more practical. Now I want to drag and drop a paragraph template. Okay, but before I drag a paragraph template, let's start with a heading or a title template. All right, now when you drag and drop the title template, as I said earlier, it's in the static mode, so you can't move this element around. By default, it's in the static mode, so I can't move it. I can't do anything to it. So all I'll have to do is to locate the position property panel, which is right below, and change it from a static position to an absolute position. Now when I change it to an absolute position, I can now move my text around, or my headline around. Now let's edit whatever information that is in here. All right, just highlight it, backspace, and let's just type in something nice. So let's type in beautiful people. Okay, and this is good. Now let's just move it a bit. Now I want to change the background so that as we move on, the differences or the differentiation can be clearer. So let's change the background of this by locating background. And I want to change this to yellow. Okay. So let's just change this to yellow. All right. And I want to also bolden this a bit and italize it as well. Great. Then I want to change this position back to the fixed position because it's in absolute mode. So I can just move it any around, but it is relative to the column or the editing space or the section space. Is relative to the column in which it finds itself. Now let's quickly change this back to a fixed position. So let's locate the position panel again. And let's change this back to fixed position. All right, now with fixed position, I can just decide to leave it right here. And it's there, it just stays there. So as I scroll with my page, you can see that it is no moving. All right, my fixed position is just fixed or stuck to my page. And that is how fixed positioning works. Now, the second thing I want to add is a paragraph, and I want to keep my paragraph in an absolute position. So let's look for a paragraph template and drag and drop and position it into an absolute position. Okay, so I just click on paragraph, drag and drop it right here. Now, as you can see, I can't move this paragraph because, as I said earlier, when it comes to Speedwapp, when you drag and drop an element, it's always in a static position, so you can move it around. So before I move this around, I have to change it to an absolute position. So click on the paragraph and locate the position panel and change from static position to absolute position. Now I can move my paragraph around, and I want this to be right here. Now you can enlarge this. Let's click on it again and enlarge. And let's change whatever information that is in here. So you can decide to type in whatever information you want to type, or if you have copied any other information, you can just paste it right in here. All right. Now this is our paragraph element and it's in an absolute position. Okay, so when I click on this whole paragraph, or when I click on this, I can decide to move it anywhere I would want to move it to. So let's try that and see how it works. So I can decide to move it to the bottom, to the top, to the right, move it a bit to the right, move it here. But I just want to leave this right here. Okay, now that is how absolute positioning works. Now this time around, we are going to add images to our section right here. So let's locate the image template, which is right here. It's under media. Okay, so let's drag and drop the image template. Now, you already know that I cannot move this image because it's in the static mode. So before I move this image around, I have to change it to an absolute position or any other position to move it around. So let's just choose absolute position. All right, and let's resize this image to fit our page. So we are going to resize this image and drag it. Resize again, resize, drag, resize further. Now I'm going to just leave this image right here. Now what I want to do is that I want to duplicate this image, all right? But before I duplicate the image, I want to also change whatever is in here. So I click on the image, I go to settings, and I click on this. Then I change my image. So I want to choose from my file. You can decide to choose from anywhere, wherever you want to copy your image or you want to replace the image from. Okay, now as you can see, this image has been changed for me. So now let's duplicate our image. Now, because the image is in an absolute position, when you duplicate it, it is relative to the column in which it finds itself. So you'll be wondering, where is my image? I duplicated it, I can't find it. It is because it's relative to its column. So the image is on the first one. So when you just click on it and you try moving, you can see that your image has been duplicated, but it is just lying on the first one. All right, now let's duplicate this as well. Okay, you can see that you can't find the image, but it is on top of the first one. So you just quickly move it around. Okay, now I want to change the middle image into a fixed position. So let's just click on it and go down, or let's locate style, go down to locate the property position panel, then change it to fixed position. All right. So now this image is in the fixed position. Let me just move. I want it to be in line right here. Okay. Now it's in a fixed position. So as I scroll, it is still in that fixed position. It doesn't scroll with my page because it's in a fixed position, but you can see that all the absolute elements are scrolling with the page. All right, so now let's add other things to our editor so that the differentiation can be clear between the absolute position and the fixed position when I scroll down, because this is giving us a limited space to scroll to see what is actually happening. So let's add other elements to our editor. See, when I scroll, this is in the fixed position, so it's not moving. It's not going to move around. All right, this is an absolute position, so it's going to scroll with my page. So it's actually scrolling with my page. This is in an absolute position as well, so it equally scrolls with my page. This element right here is in the fixed position, so it does not scroll with my page. So as you can see, when I scroll up, it is fixed to the page. It's just fixed to the page, and it's not scrolling with my page. Now that is the clear difference between an absolute position and a fixed position. I hope the difference is clear. But always remember that the absolute position is relative to the column in which it finds itself, and it always scrolls with your page, and you can also move it to anywhere you want, but still relative to the column in which it finds itself. Now when it comes to the fixed position, always remember that it is relative to its viewpoint and never scrolls with the page, so it's stuck to your page. So whether you scroll up or down, the fixed position is still where it has been positioned. Okay, now I'm sure by now you've been able to take away something from this very educative tutorial. I'll encourage you to practice it when you're creating your website, when you're trying to explore your creative skills, or even when you are trying to create your blog, or just put anything together on your own. Okay, people, now if you have not subscribed to my channel, I'll plead with you to subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn more and explore more about website creation, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button right below, and I will always come your way with something very unique, something educative, something inspirational, and something new.